So in the next exercise, we'll be seeing how to generate drawing views inside BricsCAD Mechanical. So for this, we'll be working on the val.dwg file. So I'd just like you to open this particular file, and we'll be seeing how to generate different type of views and the layout space in BricsCAD Mechanical. So in order to generate the views, we have the annotate tab over here. And then there are different type of views that we can select. So we'll be selecting the base view first to begin with. So just click on the base view, or you can even enter the command view base. So this is something that you can execute from the command line as well. And you can select the entities for which you want to create the views for. In this case, we'll be selecting the entire model. So you can also give presets or create special views. So in terms, if there's an exploded assembly and you want to create a view for that particular exploded assembly, so something that you can create with the help of special views option. So there are various options for creating base view as well. Now I'll select entire model from the command line. And then it does asks me to specify in which particular layout do I want to generate the views for. So by default, it's just layout 1. I can even type in layout 2 if I want my views to be generated inside layout 2. So you just have to name the layout wherein your views need to be placed. They not necessarily start from layout and then with a number. It could be anything. So for example, there is a layout called as demo. So you can just type in over here demo, and then you'll be getting your views generated in that particular layout. So as of now, I just select this default layout where I want my views to be generated inside layout 1. And as soon as I click over here, I'll go into the layout 1 drawing space where you can see all the borders and the title block have been set up. And then I can simply place my layout views over here in the workspace area that I get. Now the layout properties is something that you can predefine inside the layout settings. So something that is what you can do regarding the page sizes, the prints, the type of borders that you want to see, the margins, the title blocks, etc. is something that you can predefine inside your layouts and then save it as the template. So that is something we are not going to cover in this particular exercise. So now over here, once you click on the base views, you get various other options down below in the command line. So right from scaling to whether you would want to see the hidden lines or the tangent lines after placing the views. You would want to see the interference edges or the orientation. If you would want to change it, you can do that. If you want to change the projection type, so for example, if you want the first angle projection or the third angle projection, depending upon what terminologies you're using, you can select from within it. So I'd be using a first angle over here. And then you can, if you want to place an isometric geometry, you can place an isometric geometry as well. So over here right now, you can see a default wireframe geometry as a preview before placing it, so that you get a judgment of where the view is going to be placed. Now, once you do that, you simply just click on the drawing view, the drawing workspace that you have. So once you do that, your view has been placed right into the drawing sheet. And now as you move your cursor across, so you get your side views, and when you bring it downwards or topward, okay, on top, you get your top views or the bottom view that you need. And then accordingly, get your isometric view if you drag it towards in the diagonal direction. So in any diagonal direction, you'll be getting your isometric views. So this is something that depends on the cursor position. So you just drag downwards to get our side views and the bottom views over here, and I'll just place it accordingly, and I'll get an isometric view as well. And once you're ready and happy with the views, the type of views that have been placed, just right click. Okay, so the software will start building the views for us. So it's building view of 1 of 5, 2 of 5. Just make sure you don't press the escape button or else it won't generate the views for you. Just do a right click and it'll start generating the views for you. Okay. As you can see, the views have come without the hidden lines, without the tangential lines, without the interference edges, and something that we can control for each of these views over here. So this is an amalgamation of BricsCAD Mechanical 3D technology with the AutoCAD workspace, wherein each and every of this view has a viewport assigned to it. So when you click on this viewport and you go to properties, you get access to all the properties with respect to this particular viewport that has been selected. So as you can see, this is the viewport that I'm selecting, and the geometry as of now is 2D. If you want to see the hidden lines, you can simply enable it and you can see the hidden lines across. So you can do for each of these views manually, for each of these viewports, depending on the requirement that you have. So you can disable it, enable it, depending on the type of view that you would want to see. Again, if you want to change the scales or assign a custom scale, is something that you can do inside for one specific view at a time as well. The next part, wherein we'll be creating a section view for one of our right-hand side view that we just created. So in section view, we have different options. We can create a full section view. We can create a half section view, an offset section view, and aligned section view. Okay. So we'll select a full section view for this exercise, and we'll be creating a full section view for this particular viewport. Now it's asking me specify start point of selection line or select type. Okay, so I just click on section view once again. So first of all, it's asking me to select the drawing view. Okay, so I want to create a section for this particular drawing view. And as soon as I click on it, it would ask me for the start point of the section line. So I can just use the snapping. Okay, I'm at the midpoint of this particular viewport. I just hover a bit upwards and start from that particular point. I can even press F8 so that my line is linear and orthogonal. So, and once you're down to the bottom, the software will automatically create the sectional view for you. Okay, so just place it right across by its side, and you get, along with the annotations and the sections, the view of the section that we just cut. Okay. So you can just click over here. You can bring this arrow downwards as well. So it will just rebuild it depending upon the, so in case if you move this particular section line, it will again rebuild the section view for you. So in case if you're doing any changes for this particular section view, let's say you drag it from this particular point a bit to the right, the views would update. So any changes to the section line, the views would update automatically. You can also create a half section view. So just select that particular option and let's create a half section view for the bottom view that we have over here. So first of all, I need to select the view for which I'm creating the half section view, and I can snap to the center and go across. So I'll be starting from over here, right? And I'll select the midpoint. So I want to create a section up until this particular point, and then drag it downwards so that I'll be creating a view for this particular quarter section of the wall. If you see, if I drag it downwards, it gives me the quarter section view of the section lines that I just placed. And if I drag it upwards, it would give me the rest of the 3/4 view that is there in that particular view. Okay, so this is something that you can choose from. So you want the quarter section or the 3/4 section of the view. So it would be selecting the 3/4 section of the view. But as you can see, I cannot drag it rightwards or in the left direction because it's constrained with the view here. Okay, so the alignment is still there. It's aligned with the view that I'm just trying to place. So you can make use of the HK, that's the hotkey assistant. So just by pressing Control, you can maintain the alignment of the view that you want to create or break the alignment that you want to create. Okay, so I just place it upwards as of now. and let's press Control. So as soon as I press Control, I'm allowed to freely move the view across the drawing. So now the view has been set and the alignment has been broken with the main view. And I can then simply snap it across and place it downwards here. Okay, so this is section B. This is to B, wherein I get the 3/4 section of the palm right across to the bottom. So this is how you can break or maintain the alignment while placing the views, in case if you want to manage the space in your drawing sheet. Now again, we'll create a full section view as mentioned in the PDF slide. So I'll be selecting this view once again, right? I'll be selecting this connecting part of the palm, which I have. Okay, and press F8. Just make sure it doesn't draw the curvature lines of here. I just want the connecting part of the palm, right? The connecting flange, you can call it. And I can place it across. However, I just wanted the section of the connecting flange and not the entire model, right? But up here, I'm just getting the entire model as a whole, which is not required. So for this particular section view, first of all, I can place it. And then after placing it, I can choose till what depth of the section I want to present inside the drawing sheet. So I can select the depth option. And once I click on depth, I can give a 1 mm depth so that the section view would only be created till 1 mm depth of the section line. So I'll just enter 1. Okay. So first of all, I need to enter custom, and in the custom distance, I'll enter depth distance as 1. And once you're done, you see how the section view just got updated. Just hit enter once again. And now I can see only the section of the connecting flange, and the rest of the assembly is not there. Okay. So what does it exactly mean is, let's say I've placed my section line over here. So just within 1 mm distance of this particular section line, maybe till this particular point, not exactly sure where that would lie, but let's say till this particular point, the section view would be there and rest of the assembly would just get lost. Okay, so this is the view when we just assigned a depth to the view and we just have it across. Okay. Now, once the section views are finished, we can also create detailed views. So detailed views are quite used for exemplifying or amplifying the view which is more of a concern. So let's say this particular part is more of a concern. It's a very delicate part, and I want to be able to give it proper dimensions, very accurate dimensions, and something I want to represent separately. Okay, so in that case, we can create detailed views as well. So you can simply go over here. There are two types of details view that you can create: a rectangular detail view or a circular detail view. So let's create a rectangular detail view first. In this case, I've been asked to select a drawing view once again. So let's select this particular drawing view and specify the detail center. Okay, so we'll specify this as the center since I want to highlight this particular portion of the assembly. So I'll just select this as a center and just drag it outwards. Select till the position where you'd want to represent your detail view and just place it. Right? And once you place it, you do have your detail view placed across. Okay, and now it would be easier, much easier for me to dimension this particular view and to highlight what changes or what kind of dimensions that I want to provide for this particular section. Now, once again, if I want to just narrow down the view a bit to suffice my requirement, so this particular part is not required, the bottom part is not required, so I can adjust the view as well. So I can just hold the grip and bring it down. So it would just adjust the view. It just can bring it downwards as well. And you can adjust the view with the help of the grips that were made available for that rectangular block. So as soon as I adjust my rectangular view, block, the detail view will get updated like this. Okay. The same thing you can create with a circular section wherein you can select the view, okay, place a circular round, select the center, snap at it, and let's say you want to create a circular view. So you can place it across over here, right? And once you're done, you can simply drag or position it, reposition it for the type of detail that you would want to see. You can increase or decrease the size of the view, the circle, and accordingly my detail will get updated. You can also reposition the namings outside the viewport. So it's simply just click on it and drag the names outside the viewport. Okay, so this is the D and the E view for me. Wherein D, I've used a rectangular detail, and in the E section, I use the circular detail. There's another detail that I want to create, let's say for this particular part, wherein I'll use the circular detail once again, and I'll apply the profile in this particular area, and I just place it over here. Okay. I'll drag this outwards just to remove the clutter. And in this case, this one thing we can notice is still, if we would want to dimension this particular part, it would just be too congested. Okay. So in BricsCAD, since it's a viewport-based drawing views that we have, then simply select the viewport, go to its properties, and change the type of scale that you'd want to assign for each particular view. So let's say you want to amplify the view inside this particular detail. You can simply select the type of scale. So 1:1 is not sufficient. So I can assign a 2:1 scale to make it look larger. Okay, now it does look a bit larger. However, it's just intersecting. So I can readjust the position of my circular section to just make a bit bigger. And now I can dimension correctly. So now if I do dimension, there'll be no clutter at all. Okay, of dimensions that I have. So you can specify scales to your detail views, and specify various other properties as well, which will be seen in a bit of a time. All right. So this is how we can drag and drop, create detail views, section views in our drawing. Okay. Now, the next part is looking at the styles that we have. Okay, so let's say if you're not happy with the type of styles that have been used in your views, you can simply select, you can simply create new section styles or detail styles from within. So you can go to section styles. Okay, so there's the section style called metric 50 that's been used in the drawing, and these are the settings that have been assigned to this particular section style. So you can create a new style, let's say custom, okay, or you can name it any which way. So let's say this is the custom style that I'm creating. And in this, if you want to change anything, for example, let's say we'll change the color of the identifiers. Let's make it green. We can change the color of the arrows. Let's make it red. You want to change how the symbols would look like. So let's make it closed blank. Okay. For this particular section style, if you would want to change the hatch patterns for this particular sections that we're creating, you can change the hatch patterns accordingly. So you can select a new hatch pattern. For example, you can also do a lot of other changes, including the line weights for the cutting planes. If you'd want to show the lines, you can actually see a preview of the changes that you're going to make as well inside this preview section. So if you want to show the plane lines, but if you want to just show the important part of this section, you do not wish to show the plane lines, you can do that. If you want to show the end and the bend lines, you can select it, deselect it, depending upon the requirement that you have. The same thing, we can do it for detail styles as well. So you just can create a new detail style, let's say custom again over here. And once you do that, you can change the text style that you would see inside the detail identifier. You can change the color for your detail identifier, change the symbols, change the line type, line width, etc. Okay, so you can change the type of line. Let's say you want to see hidden lines, you can do that for your detail views. Okay, if you would want to change the line weights, for example, you want to increase the line weight for your detail view, you can do that as well. Okay, so this is how you can create your own customized styles for representing your section views and detail views as well. We can do the same for dimension styles. As of now, we are not applied dimensions, but you can do the same thing for your dimensions. You can create your own dimension style and assign it to the dimensions that you'll be placing inside your drawing views. So let's go back to our drawing views and let's change the styles of a few existing views that we have. So let's say for the AA section, if we go to its properties, we see the section view style right now is metric 50. Let's change it to custom. And the styles should get updated. So my arrows did turn into closed blank. The leaders did turn into green. So this is the changes that I wanted to happen. Similarly, for the detail view as well, let's say if you go to this particular detail view, we want to change it to custom, you can do that. So the detail view has changed to hidden. If you just snap over it, the hidden line, I just not changed the scale for this hidden geometry. So at this side, it's looking more of a continuous in the view over here, but then this has changed. The identifier has changed to red in color. So that confirms that my detail views do change with the styles as well. So this is something that you can customize depending upon the requirements of the organizations. The next thing that we'll be discussing about is creating and placing of bill of materials in our drawings. So you can bring in bill of materials from within the annotate tab. So just click on bill of materials, which will generate the bill of materials view. And then there are a variety of options to customize your bill of materials. So whether you'd be needing a top level, bottom level, or a hierarchical bill of material, if you'd want to load it from a template that you have already stored, or if you want to save the bill of material as a template and then reuse it again at a later stage, or if you want to configure. So let's say configure, if you want to add mass and materials. So let's say we'll add mass, we'll add material. Okay. And now you have extra added columns in your bill of materials. And let's say you're happy with that. So you can just simply click and place it. Right. So you have your components, you have your quantities, you have your mass and the physical material as well. Okay. Now, the next thing is BricsCAD Mechanical does have something called as BOM Manager, which you can get access to from within the panels section. So you can get it from panels and you can make sure that this is checked to get access to BOM Manager. Okay, so now we have the top level assembly, top level bill of materials, which just created, and you can remove or edit or change anything that you want from here as well. So if you want to add another column, if you want to add another volume, let's say volume column, then simply add and the bill of material would get instantly updated. If you delete it from within here, the bill of material would get updated again as well. Okay, and you can make changes to the existing rows and columns as well. So let's say if you want the total number of quantities of the components to be present inside your drawing to be reflected inside the footer section. So you just select the quantity column, do a right click on it, go to footer and do a sum. Okay, as soon as you do that, there'll be total number of quantities. So we have one quantity each from 1 to 14. So there are total 14 components inside my drawing. You can do the same for mass column as well. So you can go to footer, just do sum, and you get the total mass of the assembly, that is 862 grams. And the same is updated inside the bill of materials present in the drawing as well. Okay, and if you want to change the footer name, let's say from total, you would want to change to sum and semicolon, you can do that from within the bill of material properties that you have down below. So you can go to the footer title and you just type it instead of total, you want sum. So you get sum over here and over here as well. You can even change between the rows and the columns. If you want physical material before the mass, you can simply drag and drop the columns from within the BOM manager, and the same would be updated here as well. The next thing you can do is you can also add thumbnail images inside your bill of material. So you can go over here, select the mass column so that the thumbnail images are added to the right hand side of the column of the mass. And then you go over here to the hamburger menu that you can see. Okay, just select this and select insert thumbnails column. Now this is something that is new inside V22. It was not there in V21. This is just very recently have been introduced. So as soon as I click on insert thumbnails, it will insert the thumbnails for me. Okay. Now, once you do that, if you think the size of the thumbnails is too big for you to be able to accommodate, you can change the size of the thumbnails. So let's say now the size, the pixels of the thumbnails is 200 by 200. You can simply type in 70 cross 70 and it should be able to update it according to the dimensions that you just added. So now you can accommodate this particular bill of materials. Now you see it's intersecting with the title block over here. So you can simply drag and drop with the grips that are available and reposition it. Okay. So this is how you can very well customize the bill of materials. So let's say if you would want a separate name for the title of the bill of materials, you can do that. And a lot of other customizations are possible as well. So this is just a very brief introduction to the BOM manager, what we have. Of course, there are a few advanced features in it as well, which we'll be covering in the advanced training session of BricsCAD Mechanical. So this is just to give an overview of what the BOM manager can do. Okay, so let's see if we want to delete it. And yes, stay. There's a question. So I just would like to answer that particular question for the entire team. And if you'd want to enter the description for a particular component, let's say custom description, if you'd want to enter for body or stem or piston or any custom part. So just now, since this is an external component, okay, you can see it here. So we can open it in a separate window, write a description for it from here. So you do not have to go to properties to give it a description. You can simply write it in the properties section. So let's say I'll give it a description of my own, call my description. Okay, you save the file. Just enter it once. And you save the file and you close it. So now you update it from within the assembly. So my description would appear over here. So I've given my description, my custom description to the body part and the washer part. And then if you want to bring it inside the bill of materials, simply go to BOM manager. Okay, so you can go to form manager. If you want to add the custom description, you can add your custom descriptions. Okay, and this would just populate it in the BOM as well. Now, in terms of the dimensions, so you can simply select the dimensions that you want to enter depending upon the dimension style that you want to select. So we'll go to annotate. Let's say you want to enter the linear dimension for your drawing. Simply snap to the 2 points and select the dimensions. You can just snap to the grip, reposition it again. Want to add another linear dimension over here. Okay, so sometimes the dimensions may mirror themselves. So in case if you're finding that the dimensions are getting mirrored, just switch off the DUCS and replace them again. Okay, so in case if you are facing an issue where the dimensions are getting mirrored, okay, just switch off the DUCS and replace the dimensions. Okay, so this is how we can generate detailed views inside BricsCAD Mechanical. And of course, as in the earlier exercise, we saw if we make changes to the assembly, the same would be reflected with the auto update inside the drawing views as well. Okay, so that completes this particular exercise, and we are ready to move to our breakout session, which would be there for another half an hour.
Download BricsCAD today and start your free 30-day trial.